have the argument, and the argument doesn't get out of control, and the president doesn't end up dead, and this doesn't end up, the Congress doesn't end up defeated, and this doesn't, I mean, it's a system, and you got to have a system to do things.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, buddy, but you also got to understand, like, the past, shit was more strict than it was nowadays. Fucking nowadays, you got 13, 14, 15-year-old girls out there getting fucking pregnant, where back in the day, they'll get a foot put up half their ass, you know, even walking out the door with a short pair of pants on in the past.
Well, look, in the past, a father could kill his daughter and nobody would much pay attention, or he could rape her, or do whatever the fuck they wanted. So yeah, it was always family business, and now it's public business. You can't just, you know, we made rules now that people have certain rights, and we've even given some rights to kids now. So yeah, they're not some family's property, but don't be deluded that 15-year-old girls weren't getting pregnant in the old days, because they fucking were.
So right about that.
I mean, we obviously got a problem when we pay people to have kids. That's a big mistake. So I mean, obviously when you start putting a paycheck on having kids, you know, that's a problem. So you got to have some kind of mechanism that discourages that bullshit. But you can't make kids pay for it. That's where it gets tricky. You know what I mean? You can't make the kid suffer because his mother's a fucking slut whore bitch.
Yeah, I fully understand that one.
Okay. Here's my argument. You wanna go first, Dusty?
You go ahead, man.
Okay, you can have emergent order. That's what that's what evolution is. But evolution is, the forces directing it are stupid, so you wind up with things like alligators and crocodiles and killer whales and stuff like that. And I don't think that we should just let our economy be controlled by stupid forces. We can direct those forces. We can direct what happens. The emergence of order, intelligence.
Well, right, but that's the whole point I was talking about. That's what you have a constitution for. That's why you do all that lip service talk to these ideals of free speech and liberty, and these are what we want to create. And what the Constitution lacks is a few of these fairness amendments. The race shall be fair. The contest of survival shall be a fair contest. It doesn't have any amendments that are demanding fairness, and so that's where it falls down a little bit. Okay, it doesn't deal with the economic part of it, which is a huge part of our life. So, but yeah, that's the idea. But the idea that evolution is emergent, I don't even. This word emergent gets really tricky when you're using the context of something that takes 2 billion years to build something. Obviously, when you're taking 2 billion years and you have a force of natural selection that's doing the architecture, it's not exactly what I would say is fair to say is emergent. It's emergent out of a property that's just it's about how efficiently something can consume and reproduce, but it's in a context where it's just like our intelligence, where the tendency is towards rationality. The tendency is towards accurate models of reality. Okay, so I mean, there's a catch here. It's not completely stupid.
Okay, I agree. I mean, evolution, yeah, it's like horribly wasteful, and we end up with stupid things like human beings, as a result. So, totally, that's a big problem. I think human society is a little bit better than evolution because, I mean, we're not just blind forces. We do have brains, and we sometimes use them. Yeah, so the progress in terms of human society has been a lot faster than the progress of evolution. But okay, this idea that you need to direct the economy, a lot of times, yeah, I mean, I'm totally pro directing the economy. Like, one way that I'm directing the economy right now is I'm boycotting British Petroleum, BP, because of their stupid behavior in the Gulf of Mexico, where they spill oil all over the fucking place.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying that somehow it's going to reform their actions. Okay, now Exxon spilled a big pile of oil, and what'd they do? Okay, let's see. They paid a whole ton of money. They paid to clean it up. The state of Alaska fined them a whole bunch of money. They stole a whole bunch of their money. How did Exxon make up for that? Oh, that's right. It charged consumers more money. I mean, the executives didn't get hurt. None of the people who make the decisions got hurt. Okay, the people who got hurt are the consumers. The consumers paid for that mess. All right, and so what came out of it was, okay, we have some new regulations. You got to double wall your fucking tankers. You got to do a few other things, especially when you're navigating sensitive environmental areas. You're going to have to follow some rules. So they established rules again, Dusty. Okay, because they're not going to do it on their own. If the guy you're competing with is not putting the shutoff valve on, is not spending the $300,000 for a shutoff valve, you're not going to be able to do it and be competitive. So you're not. You're going to cut the fucking corners. But if they make it a rule, a standard, that everybody has to behave this way, and that's what's going to happen out of this, there's going to be a new rule. No offshore derrick is ever going to be able to open a well until they have a working shutoff on it. Okay, so that's going to be the new fucking rule, and it's going to be more expensive, but that's the rule that's going to come out of this thing, and it's not going to be about BP changing its behavior. You can't punish BP. Any punishment you impose upon them, they will impose on the consumer. So there's no way to win in this fucking war. Standards are how we win.
Okay, this is the part that I understand where you're coming from totally. Partially here I'm playing devil's advocate just for the sake of the conversation. What the fuck? Alright, can I go now, old hacks?
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna kick Abba if he comes back in. Fuck this shit. Well, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to know, who are the people in government that we're voting in that have different opinions on us about whether or not BP should, change its policy? Because what you're saying is that people aren't willing to stop buying from BP for the errant policies in the Gulf of Mexico, but the people that we're supposed to be electing do. So where's the disconnect?
Old hacks, if you're going to keep interrupting, I'm just going to kick you, alright? You want to stop it, please? I don't give a fuck about Abba. He's not funny, so whatever the game is, stop it. Look, I'm not against. You want to boycott BP? I'm not against it. I'm just saying you can't fight the war this way, because it's not about BP. It's about the standards that these industry competes at. And two, what standard is what is required to win the competition in the oil derrick business? And the point is the standard was too fucking low. Somebody went to right over the edge of it. They scooted over the fucking rail, and now we have a big fat mess because of it, okay? And so that's what's going to change. It's not going to be BP that's going to change. It's going to be the fucking rules are going to change. Any company, there's other companies all the time playing the same game as BP is playing. They're cutting corners and compromising the risks, calculating the risks every fucking day. That's the problem with this greed motivation. They'll keep saying, what can we get away with? What can we get away with?
Here's the deal. If we're going to be paying taxes and we're going to go with $13 trillion in debt, I have no problem using some of that money for things like, creating lawyers that can file suits against BP and ask them to pay for the damage that they did in the Gulf of Mexico.
Who's going to pay it? Again, who the fuck is going to pay this money? Is it going to come out of an executive's pocket? No. So why the fuck are we want to do that? A consumer's going to pay those lawyers. You're just telling the poor man to pay more lawyers. You're not going to accomplish a motherfucking thing.
Just a minute, Gary, all right? I don't know, whatever your solution is, I don't know what your solution is. You're saying we need standards, and so I'm saying in the context of the state, I agree that we could impose standards. However you want to do it is up to you. I would not strongly disagree with that position, but here's my point.